guys, so today I want to talk with you about the importance of healing from trauma. And, trauma can leave you with unsettled emotions. It can leave you with really bad memories, anxiety. You could feel numb and disconnected from reality or just from everyone around you. Trauma can leave its mark on us in many different ways. And so I want to talk to you today about why it's important to heal from trauma, and then just some things to think about if you are ready and when you are ready to deal with whatever that traumatic experience, event, or whatever that thing is that was very traumatic for you. So the first thing I want to talk about is healing from trauma is unique to the individual. Not everyone's process is the same. And so with that, although you may have a similar trauma experience, but how you heal and how you deal with that could look very different from the next person. And so the first thing is not to compare yourself to everyone else or compare what you should be doing or where you should be in your healing process with everyone else. Because your experience, your healing process, what you need is specific to you as an individual. And so give yourself a little bit of grace and take the pressure off of where you think you should be compared to where everybody else is in their healing process, in their wherever they are moving past the situation. The other thing I want to talk about is being able to live in the present without being overwhelmed with thoughts and feelings from the past. That's the second thing that's important during the healing process, is when you get to the point where you can the situation, the event, the memory can come up without becoming overwhelming to you. That's an important part about it. And with that, it's practicing mindfulness. So mindfulness is allowing you to sit in the present, allowing you to acknowledge what's happening with you, what you're feeling, what you're thinking. But again, being able to process that and move through it, and it not be something that shuts you down, that's overwhelming for you. The other thing that I want to talk about is unhealthy thoughts or beliefs about the trauma. During the traumatic experience or after the traumatic experience, our minds can make us think that either we put ourselves in a situation, we somehow that was, supposed to happen to us and things like that. And that is really paralyzing, right? It's really crippling when it comes to the healing process, because you've now associated these unhealthy beliefs and thoughts to this trauma that happened to you, where you've now connected yourself to this trauma in an unhealthy way, in a way of, well, now you are blaming or you're owning whatever happened to you. And what we have to think about is how that negatively affects the way you move past it, the way you move through it, the way you feel about it. And so we want to really push to change those unhealthy thoughts or beliefs that you've put or that you have now attached to the trauma. The fourth thing is trauma is paralyzing, right? It can stop everything in your life. It can stop growth. It can stop relationships. It can really impair your ability to think rationally. It can impair your ability to really be present and connected with those around you, right? And so trauma, if we don't heal from it, it continues to have power over us. And so if we don't think about, where does my healing begin? Where does this process start for me? What do I need to even start the process? If you don't do that, then you let it control you. You give it power. Every phase, every step that you're on, every time you say, I'm going to try to move past this, you take your power back. You take control back. You decide at what point and how it affects you. And that's from you going through the healing process. Again, why is this process so important? It's because it allows you to take your power back. It allows you to no longer be controlled by thoughts and feelings, fears, triggers, right? It helps to control those things. Now, the reality is some of these things will always be present with you, but it's how you're able to deal and process them is the part that we want to work through, the part that it is so important for you to figure out what to do with. And then once we get to a point where we're ready, then we want to go and we want to get help. And let's talk about that. So the first thing is, let's acknowledge I need help. Acknowledge that whatever this thing is, it is beyond you and you can no longer be bound to its power, right? So you have to say, whatever this is, I need help. I need to go seek professional help. and do that. Go and seek professional help. Now, with seeking professional help, I want you to think about this. First thing I want you to do is identify why you want to move past this trauma. Now, this is important because it helps motivate you through this process. If you come in and you're like, fix me, I need to heal from this, I need to whatever it is, but you don't know why you want to move through it, it makes it really difficult to motivate you when you're having tough days, to pull energy and pull motivation when you're like, I can't do this today. But when you can remember why I wanted to do it, what's my reasoning behind it, why is it important for me to move past this, this really helps to encourage you through the process, but it also helps the person that you're working with, the professional that you're working with, to help you along the way. Oftentimes, we spend a little bit of time trying to get people to connect as to why they're with us, finding ways to motivate them. But if you can identify with yourself, why today, why is it important that I heal from this trauma? Whether it's for my own personal growth, for my relationships, for those around me, whatever that is, figure out why you need to move past it and why you need to heal from it. Then go in and get help. The other thing, as you go in and get help, be ready to be vulnerable. Know that this is not an easy process. Healing is not an easy process. Moving through trauma is not easy. You have to go back. You got to talk through it again. Memories will come up. You've got to work through triggers. We will have to give you tools to help work through those things, and that requires talking through them. That's vulnerable. That's hard. That's emotional. But be ready to do that. We as professionals are ready to receive you, but you as the individual coming in, you got to be ready for the work. And that means you've got to get your mind around, I'm coming in here today. I don't have the answers. This is why I'm coming to you. But I'm coming to you in a place where I've never been here before, but I'm ready and I know why I want to do this. And that's helpful because it makes you connect with the process. It helps you to figure out, this is why I got to tough this out. This is why I have to stick through it, because I figured out why this is so important for me. And when you can do that, that helps that healing process. It makes it a lot better for you. It helps you to understand it. It helps you to really be connected to it, but it also helps you to work through it a lot more quickly than maybe other people or other situations that you wouldn't normally do, because you've identified, like, this is my motivation. This is why I'm doing this. So as we recap, I'm going to go back through the 4 things again. First thing is knowing that your healing is unique to you. You're an individual. It's going to be different for everybody. 2, you got to be able to be mindful of what's happening with you, mindful and be present so that these things can no longer overwhelm you as you think about them, so that you can move past these feelings. The 3rd thing is we have to change your belief that you've attached to it, the unhealthy thinking, the unhealthy beliefs that you've attached to the trauma of why it happened and how some kind of way you had a part in it. And the 4th thing is that knowing that trauma can be paralyzing, that means that we've got to go back and take your power back. And in that, the healing process is how you go back and you take your power back. And the last thing is, when you're ready to say, I'm ready to do this, you have to think about, you got to know why you're ready. You got to find your reason why you are ready to heal, why you're ready to overcome this trauma, why you are no longer wanting to be bound by this, and then ready to do the work. We're here for you. We're ready to work with you. And so hopefully this gives you guys some ideas, some thoughts to sit with. And if you need to start that process, connect with someone. Find someone that you can connect with.